Hello, this is another episode of the Erudite Pragmatist, a phrase I just coined because I think we all need to focus more and really think about things that are going on around us. So I'm going to do today's episode on people and interacting with each other. And I like to think of it in a progression. We have to learn more about each other and how to interact with each other. I can sense now with the, I don't know what term I should use, the coronavirus, the epidemic, people's attitudes or their caring for each other has lessened. But even without that, the way we react with each other isn't always the best, right? So let me give you some examples. I'm on the bus, and some bus drivers are very helpful. They give you the information, they're pleasant, they're caring, and then some snap at you. They don't care. I've seen even when they drive away, knowing the person needs the bus and probably is desperate, but the bus driver drives away. Now, they would probably have a reason, well, I'm on my rate, they weren't there, and blah, 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 but we're all supposed to care for each other. We're supposed to protect each other, assist each other in time of need, and so the bus driver knows he's impacting that person, but doesn't care, right? So that's just my introduction. I want to tell you about a few people that have transformed my thinking about this and my caring. So let's go back. I remember I was a young boy on Spark Street in Ottawa, and I saw a big crowd of people hanging around. They put up a tent. I read the news occasionally, but I wasn't 100% focused on it. I was outside playing sports with my friends. Anyways, I saw it was Terry Fox, but I didn't know who Terry Fox was at the time. I got to be honest with you. I just saw a lot of people, and I thought, oh. So I went home and I read about it, and I saw that this guy was from BC, and he was running to raise money to cure cancer. A lofty ideal. I remember speaking with a friend, and he thought Terry Fox was our greatest Canadian, or certainly one of them. And I thought, I love Terry Fox, but he just ran. So I don't know if he's our greatest Canadian, but I've grown to have a better appreciation for him. So then I started thinking, who are some of the other people that I think are real influential? So if I just think of it, the top person at the time right now would be Edward Snowden. He gave up money, all his privacy, all the things we cherish for us. That's what he did it for us, so that we were aware that the government was spying on us, was doing all these things to us or against us, and he's paid a heavy price. He wasn't pardoned by Trump. I doubt Biden will pardon him, because they were impacted by what he did. So that to me is unforgivable and really tragic. I read his book, which I thought is great. I recommend it to everyone to read about it. We all should know about these things. On a similar vein is Julian Assange, who has I guess you could say, from a different angle, a checkered past. I don't believe the allegations that were made about him in Sweden. It was all political. And he did the same thing for us. I didn't know what was going on until I read, what do they call them? The WikiLeaks, all the secret documents. I remember seeing the video about the drones, and they were shooting at innocent people. I remember seeing that. I would not have known about that if it were not for Julian Assange. He has And then, of course, Chelsea Manning, or I don't know what her name is now, but because he changed genders, he's now a woman. These people are giving up all their liberties, all their freedom for us. They did it for us, and we should be so thankful to them. Another one is Dick Gregory. I remember watching a video of his, and he said there was a time where the debt collectors were calling him. He didn't know what to do, and he did what I thought was an amazing thing. He changed my viewpoint. He said, I don't care anymore. He finally said, I don't care. The debt collectors were calling him. He said, fine, call, try to scare me, but I'm not scared anymore. And this is the thing that was a big lesson for me to learn, and I think everyone should learn this lesson. You have to learn not to be scared. Not to let the government scare you, not to let people intimidate you. And it's something I've learned, and I thank Dick Gregory for that lesson. If I find it, I'll put the link in there. I thought it was great. So I just finished watching, it was called The Troublemaker, and it was about a man from the UK named Roger Hallam. He was the leader of Extinction Rebellion, and I didn't know, I have seen it, but I didn't know much about it. So he was instrumental, and so I highly recommend you watch this. It's only an hour long. I guess it's a documentary about what he did, again, for us, with climate change, and he brought it to our attention. I have a friend who is praising Greta Thunberg, saying, you know, what she did was good, making the politicians accountable and whatnot. I'm not a fan of Greta Thunberg. I mean, when I did see her, and I saw her through Democracy Now!, which I'll talk about in a second. But I don't know. To me, I'm not putting her down, but to me, what she did was skip school to bring attention to the issue. Okay, but that's not really putting yourself on the line, putting yourself at risk. What Roger Hallam did was incredible. He went on hunger strikes. He was arrested. He did some activist actions. He paid the price. So those type of people I'm really proud of. And then I saw a video about Greta on when she was in Edmonton, and a reporter confronted her about her travels and whatnot. And it seemed like a lot of the things she was doing were paid for by other people who were profiting off of her. So I don't want to go into depth too much about it. I'm not an expert on her, but I'm not a fan of hers the way a lot of people seem to be. And even Democracy Now! Is one of her backers. And I don't think they do a lot of research into what she has been doing, and I think her parents are responsible for a lot of it. I mean, she won't go to a conference because it's on a plane, but she'll take somebody else's boat. So I don't know. I'm of two minds of her. So another person who changed my thinking. I went from being ignorant of all these issues and then to becoming aware, is a man named Larry Wartel, who I met in Victoria. He has to be my hero, one of the great activists of modern day time. Everyone who's come across him thinks he is the greatest guy. He is the one who got me or convinced me to start listening to Democracy Now!, which I did, and I am so thankful to him because I learned so much, because they're giving us the news for our benefit with no agenda, no compromise. I've learned nothing from listening to NBC, who are owned by GE, who are owned by the war complex, right? CBS, they're owned by Viacom, and ABC, I think, is owned by Disney. They're all compromised. It's It's not their job to give you the news, to inform you. It's their job to propagandize, and as Noam Chomsky says, to manufacture consent, to get you to believe what they want you to believe. So you have to fight to get the news from a reliable source. And one source is Democracy Now! They do a very good job of explaining the news, presenting it to you, informing you. They do news for about 10 minutes, and then the rest of it is interviews with people who give you an in-depth look at different issues that you should know about. So this is a place you should be going, democracynow.org, to learn, to educate yourself. And Larry Wartel caught me when I was ignorant, but he didn't press me. He didn't force me like so many people do. He just said, I'll answer whatever questions you have until you learn what you need to. I came into it so naive, and question after question he answered patiently and informatively, and he allowed me to understand the issues. I went to it was called Activist Movie Night, and they would present different movies or documentaries on different issues that are important to us all. And I forget the gentleman's name who did it, but he was also so nice to me and helpful. I'll try to look up his name and put a link in for it here. So he helped me understand these different issues, why people are protesting, why I never understood the Israeli-Palestine issue until Larry explained it to me, and then I was, wow, how could I be so ignorant about it? So all these people are there for us to learn from, and we have to do that. We have to become more aware. So when I go back to the beginning of what I was saying, a great book I read is Power of Now. I'll put a link in for this. You can see it on YouTube, but I don't know how long it'll stay up there. We have to learn to not react, not get upset at each other, to be more understanding. And so one way people do this is through meditation. You can do it just by being more understanding, more patient with people. And these are things that we have to do to become, how would you say it? To understand people better, to be more helpful to each other. So one issue, climate change, I didn't know much about, but now when I see it, we already have flooding in many countries and many cities. You're going to see it. One thing I learned from Democracy Now! Is Shanghai, China, may be flooded. Can you imagine a city? I think it's the largest city in the world, but I think they have 30 million people. Can you imagine if that city was flooded? So climate change really impacts us, and we should all be cognizant of it. I just never saw something that explained it properly until now, but the troublemaker did that. So I think I presented a few things. I just want us all to be more helpful to people and more understanding with each other. Okay? So I'll leave it there, and I'll put a lot of links in for you to look about these issues and to become more informed. Okay? Thanks.